Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So what does food mean to you? Well, join me in this week's segment as we focus on back to school, back to work, and saying goodbye to summer. But before we say goodbye to summer, I wanted to start out giving you tips for actually 10 ultra budget campsites to RV for, just dollars per day. There's still some time to get in some camping, and the weather's still nice. And here are some ultra budget campsites that you can RV. So the first one is Saddle Mountain Dispersed Camping in Tonopah, Arizona. And this one is supposed to offer wide open spaces and striking desert views, and it's just about an hour west of Phoenix. And why is it great? Because it offers free camping with mountain views, epic skies, and room to spread out. And yes, I said free, so the cost for this campsite is free. Number 2 is Magnolia Beach in Port Lavaca, Texas. This one is free with a 3 to 14 day limit. This is beach camping for free. Magnolia Beach is nestled on the shores of Lavaca Bay along the Gulf Coast and offers hard-packed sand that's easy for RVs to park on. Why this one is great? Because it's beachfront, beautiful, and it costs absolutely nothing. Number 3 is Lake Meredith National Recreation Area in Fritch, Texas. This is free at designated campgrounds. It's operated by the National Park Service. Lake Meredith offers several designated free camping areas around a sparkling lake set in the high plains of the Texas Panhandle. Why this one is great? It's lakefront camping with all the serenity and none of the fees. Number 4 is Meeman Shelby Forest State Park in Millington, Tennessee. This one costs $10 to $13 for tent sites, or $20 to $27 for RV sites. Still not bad. This one is nestled in the woods just north of Memphis. And why this one is great? It's forested solitude with big city access at a fraction of the usual cost. Number 5 is Buckhorn Draw Campground in Green River, Utah. This one costs $15 a night. And why this one is great? It's budget-friendly base camp for exploring one of Utah's best kept secrets. The nearby Buckhorn Wash pictograph panel is a must-see, and the area is rich with trails, slot canyons, and peaceful desert hikes. It's supposedly off the beaten path, but that's kind of what makes it so magical. And really, for, hardly like $15 a night, the views alone are probably worth the drive. Number 6 is Black Canyon Rim Campground in Heber, Arizona, and that one is $20 a night. So if you're looking for cooler weather and a break from the desert heat, the Mogollon Rim has what you need. This pine forested campground near Heber Overguard sits at about 7,500 feet elevation and offers a dozen first-come, first-served sites that feel peaceful and tucked away. Why this one is great? It's piney solitude, high elevation, and perfect temps, all on the cheap. Oleno State Park in High Springs, Florida. This one costs $5 to $18, depending on the campsite type that you get. Why this one is great is because it's affordable access to Florida's natural beauty without the usual crowd. And let's see, number 8 is Liberty Harbor RV Park in Jersey City, New Jersey. So we do have some on the East Coast. Florida and Jersey City, New Jersey. This one costs $75 for 10 sites. The RVs start at $165, but I understand there's some kind of a trick. So this one bends the rules, so Liberty Harbor RV Park is the closest campground to New York City, which is a not so RV friendly city. And while RV sites here are pricey, the park does offer 10 sites for as low as $75 a night. So if you're traveling in a camper van or car with rooftop tent, you may qualify for the tent pricing, especially if you're okay skipping hookups. The park has shower security and ferry access to Manhattan, which is just 2 blocks away. So, it's kind of cheaper than staying in Manhattan, and you have access to going to New York City. So yes, why it's great, New York City access without the New York City price tag. Number 9 is River Park South Campground in Cottonwood, Ohio. This one costs $20 to $25 a day, and it's run by the city of Cottonwood. And I understand this Riverside Park is quiet, cozy, and often completely empty. There's a restroom, a few shaded picnic tables, and room for a handful of RVs or tents. The city asks only for a $5 donation to help with upkeep, and sounds like the setting is rural and relaxing. Why this is great? It's small town charm, restful setting. And number 10, the last one, is called Dead Man's Basin Fishing Access Site in Shawmut, Montana. This one is free, but there's a 7-day limit. Montana is full of fishing access sites that double as primitive camping areas, and Dead Man's Basin is a hidden favorite. It's located along a large reservoir in central Montana. And why this one is great? It's free, wide open camping with some of the best stargazing in the country. So there you have it, my recommendation for ultra budget campsites to take advantage of the last few days of summer. Stay tuned for our special interviews this week. And before we get into the interviews, I wanted to mention some great products that I found for our back to school guide, and these will be in this week's back to school guide. I've been having fun researching products for the back to school guide, and I have to mention that companies do send me products to try out for the guide, but I only recommend the products that I love. So here are this week's products that I found. They're perfect for back to school, back to work. So I love this product. It's my Bugia bottle, and the Le Printemps 25-ounce insulated water bottle and pink carrier bottle sling is just so stylish. You can stay hydrated in style with this one, and who wouldn't love to take this to work or to school with them? The next product is the cat-themed wireless charging pad by Comfort Diva. You can keep the phone powered up without the cord. Chaos for work, school, or play. And this really cute compact wireless charger has a playful cat design. Then we have Honey Golf. Oh, I love this. It's the Alice short sleeve bodysuit and Sally classic shirt. Back to school season is not just for classrooms. It's the perfect time to level up your style on and off the course. Check out Honey Golf and Bloomer's Intimates. These are so pretty. The Le French cut briefs, tiara lace bralette, and feather lace pantaloon slip shorts. Hot summer nights are not over yet, and Bloomers has you covered, literally covered. Try out this lingerie, really, really beautiful lingerie. And then we have Relic Modern. They make their handmade wooden objects, and these are beautiful walnut bookends. These elegant modern wooden bookends are perfect for organizing and storing all those important reading materials. So check out Relic Modern. You can find a lot of beautiful wooden objects there, handmade. Then we have Cassetta by Lutron. So this is the Cassetta Smart Plug Kit. Lets students control lighting hands-free, perfect for late night studying or relaxing via the Lutron app. You have voice with assistance or a Pico remote, which is included. So let's see. I think these are all my products for this week. And stay tuned. First of all, these products will be listed in the back to school guide for this week at themarialiberattishow.com. And stay tuned because each week throughout the rest of, well, August is done, but throughout the rest of the month of September, or all the month of September, I will be bringing to your attention more products for back to school. Join me on a mouth-watering journey through Italy with my Gourmand World Award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, which brings you authentic recipes, heartwarming stories, and a dash of Mediterranean magic. Whether you're a seasoned chef or a beginner, these books will awaken your inner food artist. Get ready to say ciao to delicious adventures. And you can find the Gourmand World award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, at Amazon.com on Kindle and on marialiberati.com and the publisher's website, artoflivingprimamedia.com. And today, my special guest is Mark Reinsch, who is an author and a life coach. And he's the author of a book called The Wellness Ethic. And all this month and part of September, we are doing different things for, back to school, back to work. So I thought this was really a pertinent topic for this time of year. Mark, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
So I thought the whole concept of this wellness ethic versus work ethic was really interesting. How did you get the idea to do this book called The Wellness Ethic?
Well, it was a long time coming. It's really a big part of my life journey. But around 6 years ago, I had just finished with in addition to my corporate job, a side hustle of building a social media app with a
Mhm.
co-founder. And that was a 4 year, very trying experience, but we had a good outcome. We ended up selling it. And I thought, well, what is the next step for me?
Mhm.
And honestly, I thought, something, I'm just not thriving in life. I
Huh?
should be very happy. I have a wonderful family. I have a good corporate job. I just sold my social media application, but I'm not feeling it. I'm very dissatisfied. So I thought, something, I love creative writing. I wrote screenplays for 20 years, comedies, and I always wanted to write a book. And then I thought, if I write a book about wellness and somehow figure out how to close the gap between inspired living and my actual life,
Uh-huh.
I could help others do the same. And then I thought, if I write that book, I will create a legacy for my children because they'll be able to tap into my wisdom and my voice
Right.
for the rest of their lives long after I'm gone. When I added that up, it was all upside, and I thought I really have to tackle this. And the book evolved into really the antidote to the work ethic. And
Uh-huh.
that's why I titled it as such.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you. So tell us, for my listeners, what like the difference. So there's the work ethic and there's the wellness ethic. So what's the difference? Everybody knows the work ethic, but yes, tell us what the difference is.
Yeah, and I'd first state that there's nothing wrong with a work ethic. I have a
Right.
work ethic. A
Right.
work ethic means you really work hard for the goals you have in your life.
Uh-huh.
But a wellness ethic takes it to another level. It means you're working hard for your well-being.
Right.
And the reality in today's world, the term work ethic has been hijacked in many
Mm-hmm.
ways where the expectation is you are fully devoted to your job. It takes priority over your relationships, your family, your personal health, exercising, the fun things you like to do in life. those are kind of on the side when you have time, but you're expected to be working day and night, sometimes weekends, and it even can be a badge of honor to sleep in the office.
Yes.
And you've all heard the stories from corporations, pushing that kind of
Oh,
mindset.
yes. Mm-hmm.
And the reality is, if you look at a recent Mercer study, it
Mm-hmm.
showed that up to 82% of people are on the verge of burnout.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 out of 10 people are struggling with life balance and truly thriving in life.
Uh-huh.
So, what the wellness ethic does is it says, yeah, work matters. You want to find joy and meaning as best you can in your professional life. So that's part of the equation,
Uh-huh.
but recognize there is so much more. So make sure you nurture loving relationships. Make sure you eat well, you build healthy exercise routines. Make sure that you find a way to pursue your passions. And if you blend that approach together, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen overnight. Life is never perfect. But if you start making smart choices, you'll find that you can get this stuff done professionally. You can thrive in your personal life, and it comes together, and you're a much happier, more fulfilled person. And that's what my book, The Wellness Ethic, gives you that roadmap, the tools, the know how to be able to do that.
So you mentioned something about finding the meaning of life, right, in the book.
Yeah.
How, so tell us, what did you find as the meaning of life?
Yeah, I've wondered it my whole life,
Uh-huh.
what is the meaning of life? They make movies about it, right?
Right.
So as I was writing the book, I was probably halfway through it, and I was still trying to discover what is that meaning. I had written a chapter on spirituality, so I looked at it from that angle. I wrote a chapter about the mind. I wrote a chapter about adopting change in your life, and I was just plowing my way through it. But then I thought, there's a common thread that's connecting everything I'm writing about, and it's the simple word love.
Uh-huh.
And when I started to think about that, I thought, wow, that really is the common denominator. The meaning of life is to feel and share love. And
Mm-hmm.
if you put everything in your life
Uh-huh.
through that lens,
Uh-huh.
how you respond to challenging situations, how you go after your dreams, how you choose to spend your time. If you put everything through the lens of love, if you lead with love, you're going to find that you make better decisions. You're going to take care of yourself. You're going to help others. You're just going to live a much more joyful and peaceful life. Again, never perfect,
Right.
but it makes all the difference. So that's what I propose is the meaning of life.
Huh, that's very interesting. So it sounds like the wellness ethic is kind of, because you have said there's nothing wrong with the work ethic, but it's making it be more balanced instead of, like you said, sleeping at the office and just ignoring everything else in your life. It's meant to really balance everything, so there's still this wellness part in your life, correct? So you can still be a functioning and not burnt out but happy, human, right? It sounds like that you're, still able to enjoy life working, but as you said, there's nothing wrong with work, and but also enjoying things as well. So, and I think one thing that I found in my experience, I think if you can find work that brings you joy, that doesn't feel like work, that is somehow tied to your life, that is the ultimate, because then it's not, you're not doing something totally foreign, that it's all part of, it's a whole one part of your life. So, but not everyone is able to do that, unfortunately. But I think that's also something great, if you can do that, find something that you're able to work at and makes you happy, but that's not always possible. But if
Well, what I would say,
uh,
you're totally correct.
Right.
However, there is so much you can do to take control of your life and control what you can control. So let's say you have a job that you're not passionate about. And to be honest, Maria, I could say that about my corporate career over 30 years. It was not my passion. I would have rather have been a screenwriter, a
Uh-huh.
write books, be an architect or an archaeologist. I could come up with a whole bunch of other things I would rather have done,
Right.
but I needed to provide for my family, save for
Exactly.
retirement. But not all is lost because how I approach my job is there's a lot I can do within my job that will bring me joy and meaning. So the relationships that I build at work and helping to get things done that we have to get done. I have a what I call a team brand for the organizations that I lead. And I say it always starts with positive leadership.
Right.
Build positive win-win partnerships. And when you do so, work becomes more enjoyable, you accomplish more. And so when you accomplish something,
Uh-huh.
it's meaningful, you feel a sense of
There
satisfaction.
you go.
When
Uh-huh.
you're engaged in work, there will be times, even if you're not passionate about it, but you get so absorbed in the work, you get into what they call a flow state where you're just one with the moment and you're challenged. Time just flies by. And when you get out of that, you feel satisfied, you feel good. There's a lot of good that can come from work if you're mindful and focus and help shape that work to something that aligns with the things that you're passionate about, where you find meaning. And if it's not working,
Mhm.
then look for a different job within the company or outside of it, but don't settle for work that doesn't serve you.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right. You need something, yes, that will serve you. Exactly. I think that's the key also. That's great. So, Mark, we're almost out of time. So tell people where can they find the book, The Wellness Ethic? Is it just on Amazon and anywhere books are sold?
Yes, if you can go on Amazon or any online retailer, the book is available in ebook, print, so soft hardcover, basically anywhere you can buy books.
That's great. And do you have a website yourself also? We should tell people to
I
find you.
do. It's wellnessethic.com.
There you go. That's great. That's great. Thanks so much for being here and much success with the book. It sounds like a really fabulous topic.
Thank
So
you very much.
you're welcome. Take care.
Join me on a mouth-watering journey through Italy with my Gourmand World award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, which brings you authentic recipes, heartwarming stories, and a dash of Mediterranean magic. Whether you're a seasoned chef or a beginner, these books will awaken your inner food artist. Get ready to say ciao to delicious adventures. And you can find the Gourmand World award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, at Amazon.com on Kindle and on marialiberati.com and the publisher's website, artoflivingprimamedia.com.
And all this month and part of next month, we have lots of back to school topics. Our back to school guide is coming out, and today we have as a special guest, family therapist Siobhan Chirico, and she's also a contributing writer. And she's going to help us with some tips for getting your kids ready for back to school, making it a smooth transition, because I know it's not always smooth. Siobhan, thanks so much for being with us here today.
Thanks so much for having me. I know
Sure.
this can be a really stressful time for
Yes,
families, so it's
after,
nice to
being
talk.
able to sleep in late and do whatever you want, and it's like now back to the regimented schedule. So tell us, I know I saw an article that you did in, is it Today's Parent Magazine, right?
That's
About
right.
that. And I thought you could share those tips that you had there on making it a smooth transition.
Sure. So often, parents get just as stressed out as kids about going back to school, right? Because it feels like everything starts to change at this time of year. Even the weather in places starts to change, right? So we're getting back to routine, like you mentioned, Maria, and all of a sudden we're not sleeping in or having all the time in the world to do what we want. So my first tip in the article is really about checking as the grown-ups in the room, checking in with our own emotional temperature. So have we started to really get stressy and being like, oh my gosh, I got to figure out daycare and I have to figure out who's picking kids up after school and now I have to start making lunches again and it can feel very overwhelming. So we want to just be really careful as parents to kind of talk through that with someone, maybe a friend or a spouse or whoever might be available to you before we kind of dump all that on the kiddos, right?
Right? Because I was
Because
going
they
to
have their
say,
own worries.
right, I was just going to say, not to interrupt you, but it's probably like if the kids know you're stressed out, they're going to sense that and they're going to get doubly stressed out, right?
Absolutely. So we like to say in therapy, emotions are contagious. They're
Uh,
very contagious.
okay, so then that
So
my observation is correct. Yes.
absolutely correct. And kids really are sensitive to how like they're looking to the parents and the grown-ups in the room to kind of help them understand how they should feel and if should they be worried or should they feel it's okay and they're excited. So yeah, that emotional contagion can work in our favor
Yes,
if we
yes.
just take a few minutes, yeah, to check in with ourselves and go, okay, I'm going to get myself in a good headspace. I'm going to talk through my worries with another grown up, and then I'm going to come to talk to the kids in a place of calm, right? I'm going to be very purposeful about that. I think
Exactly.
we can all picture the family that's just starting to get everybody packed out to school and one parent is yelling put your shoes on and the other one's yelling grab your backpack and everybody's like oh my gosh, so just a little bit of planning and a little bit of check-in we can avoid kind of that level of stress and anxiety.
Yes. So
You're smiling, I can see you've lived this, we've all lived it.
yes, yes, yes. Well, I don't have my own kids, but I do have nieces, and I know, I know, I've been, I've been with them during back to school time. So yes, I have lived through that in my own back to school experience, but I know with my nieces more recently. Yes, yes. So what's next?
So the next thing is we want to try and move back into routine but go slowly. So sometimes we get a little overwhelmed and then we hit the kids with it and say, okay, everyone has to start going to bed early and no more screens after a certain time. And we're going to all have dinner at a certain time. And maybe we move a little quickly out of summer mode into fall mode. And then it feels a little panicky. So if we could kind of think, okay, what is my goal? I want the kids in bed by 9 or whatever, but they've been going to bed at 11. You want to just kind of transition back. This is a great week. We still have a full week of summer most places. Kids are going back after Labor Day. So maybe this week we think about, okay, maybe we'll pull it back a little bit. Let's get them 10:30, 10. Let's talk about screens a little bit. Maybe they've had a lot more iPad or video game time than you'd like them to be doing during the school year. But we don't want to come down like a sledgehammer either and be like, everything's different now.
Exactly, exactly. Yes. So the main thing is to not be like, not shock them into, okay, now it's like one thing, then it's a totally different, right? Because
Yeah.
kids get stressed out very easily, right? And you don't, that's one thing
Yeah.
you definitely don't want to do.
No, because, going into school is already, they've got a lot of questions or maybe they have some worries. And, that kind of brings me to the next kind of tip, which is talk about going back to school and ask them some of those questions, but maybe start with, well, what are you really excited about for this year? What are you looking forward to for whatever grade they're going into or whatever? And then maybe ask them, well, is there anything you're kind of worried about too? Like we can ask, like, so they have a space to talk about if they are
E-
worried about something.
Right, exactly. No, that's a great idea. And you definitely want to get them excited about going to school and to for it to be something that they're looking forward to. So that talking through it, I think, is definitely a great idea.
And they have little worries that we might not think about, right? Like
About
they have worries
exactly.
about, is their buddy going to be in their class, or is the teacher going to be nice, or are they going to be close to the door so they can be the first one out for recess? Like who knows what their worries might be.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
they're valid because they're their worries, but
Yes.
we might not even think, "Oh, is that a thing?" And then when they do share something they might be thinking about, it's good as parents if we can just listen and not try and fix it.
Uh-huh. There you go.
We often jump to, okay, how can we solve this problem? You know, if they're saying, I don't know where my classroom's going to be, I'm really worried about that.
Right.
We could just say, oh, yeah, that sounds like a reasonable thing to be worried about. But how do you think that's going to go? Do you think someone will show you where it is? Like, how do you think that's going to go? Instead of being like, well, maybe we can go to the school and try and get in early and see if we don't have to fix for them, right?
Right. Yes.
Not all the time.
Yes. And so that leads us to the next. So
Yes,
that's
so the next one is maybe prioritize. So sometimes we get really wrapped up. There's lots of shiny commercials on TV and on the YouTube about we need a new backpack and we need a new lunchbox and we need all those things. So try not to get wrapped up into all of that stuff. You
hmm
don't need everything in the first week. Most cases, teachers don't even want you buying supplies until they tell you what they'd like you to get. So try to not get too panicky about buying all the things and what you might need. And instead maybe think about, well, what skills does my little person need going into school?
right,
So kind of emotionally getting them ready, maybe saying, how would you ask for help if you needed help at school?
right.
Who would you talk to, do you think?
Mhm.
What would you do if you started to feel very stressed out at school one day? Like maybe take them through those scenarios.
Uh-huh.
Um, One, it helps normalize the idea that this happens to all of us, right? Like
Right,
sometimes we have a hard day and we need a plan and we need to be able to ask for help. So
exactly.
just kind of walking kids through that.
Uh-huh.
Um, Even the idea of like, well, what happens if you're having a hard time at recess? Maybe you want to play with a friend and they don't want to play with you. Like, how would you handle something like that? What would you do? You know, these are really important things to think about with your children before they happen.
Right. I was just going to say that's a great idea because you don't want it to escalate into something that it shouldn't. So maybe if you talk to them about those things, right, before they happen, they'll have a plan and they'll know what to do because all kinds of things come up that they're not expecting, you're not expecting, we're not expecting, parents aren't expecting. So that's great, a great idea to have a plan in place.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the last point was just leave a little room for summer. So maybe we don't have to close that door so tightly, you know? Just because you're starting back at school, we still have a lot of daylight and we still have some nice weather and maybe keep doing some of the nice things you've been doing in the summer. Maybe eat dinner outside still or go to the park after school if you have time and space, you know? Like just keep doing some of those nice summery things so it doesn't feel like everything stopped when school started.
Exactly, exactly. And again, you're not stressing them out. You're kind of just easing back into. Yes. Well, that's great. They are all great tips, I'm sure we can all use, and hopefully everyone will have an easier time getting back to school. And Siobhan, that article is in It's Today's Parent, and people can go
That's
to
right.
today'sparent.com. Do you have a website or something people can look up?
Yes, actually, you could just Google my name, Siobhan Chirico, and I've actually written a book about helping parents when children are in a crisis or a meltdown or having tantrums and stuff. So my website is called climbingcrisismountain.com, and that's the title of the book. And it comes
Oh,
with some
okay.
scripts and some ideas of what to say and do when you get into a sticky situation.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Hopefully we'll hear from you in the near future. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Maria Liberati Show. And thanks, as always, to my producer, Britton Roselle, for making this episode happen. And thanks to my special guest this week. And before I forget, I just want to wish everyone a happy and safe Labor Day. As we celebrate Labor Day, let's honor the hands and hearts behind every meal, every home, every story. Whether you're resting, hosting, or creating, may this weekend remind you of the beauty in meaningful work and well-earned rest. Until next time, stay inspired and savor the moments that matter. And as always, you can find me at marialiberati.com, on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on Twitter or X at Maria Liberati, on Pinterest at Maria Liberati. The website for this show is the marialiberatishow.com, and you can also find some of my videos on Vimeo at Maria Liberati. Our YouTube channel, which is called the Maria Liberati Show, you can find both podcasts and videos of some of the podcasts and videos of some of my cooking shows on YouTube. And as always, you can find my Gourmand World Award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, at artoflivingprimamedia.com, on Amazon and Kindle. And I mentioned this last week, but Amazon and Kindle have just released a few weeks ago audiobooks of many of my books, so you can grab some audiobook versions there. You can also find them at barnesandnoble.com, at marialiberati.com, and really almost anywhere books are sold. And until next time, peace, love, and pasta.